I've just filmed this whole video and it was all in slow-mo. The whole thing. I am so upset, but I'm like, let's try it again. Hi everyone and welcome to my birthday book haul. Today I've got a stack of 11 books which I decided to purchase for myself. Even though it goes against my goal of Project TBR Zero, my birthday, like everyone else, only comes once a year, so I thought I might as well get them. Like, why not? And especially because I haven't asked my parents for many books this year, who I normally ask for like a massive pile. I've only asked them really for books that I've read before in the past that I don't want to purchase for myself, but I want in my collection. So I felt like I might as well spoil myself, because the day you're seeing this video should be my birthday. Hopefully it's uploaded on the 22nd of December, but I'm now just going to jump straight into the books. So the first book I've got for myself is Grimstone by Sophie Lark. This is a book I'm so unbelievably excited for, which I'm probably going to say a lot in this video. But the reason I'm so excited for this book in particular is Sophie Lark is an author who I've read from multiple times before. I've read the whole Brutal Birthright series except for one of the books in there where the tropes were just not really things I was interested in, and I really enjoyed that series. But I feel like I'm going to enjoy this book a whole lot more because it's a gothic romance, and I just feel like I've got the potential to really love gothic romances, but I don't know why. But for some reason I'm just so drawn to this book, and every time I've seen it in a bookstore I've wanted to pick it up. I've been so desperate to buy it. But if I had bought this book in store, it wouldn't have matched the rest of my Sophie Lark books because they're quite a funny size. They're not your standard size paperback, but they're not really the tall floppy paperbacks. They're just somewhere in the middle. So I'm so glad I managed to find this edition because it will also match the rest of my Sophie Lark books. So yeah, this was the first book I purchased. Then the next book I got was Collide by Bal Cabra. I don't know. And this one is also another fancy edition because it's got these stenciled edges or sprayed edges, whatever you call them, and it says Summer and Aiden, and I just thought it was stunning. I wasn't necessarily certain I was going to purchase this book, but then when I saw it I was like, I need to get it because I love a sports romance, and the fact that it's got these beautiful sprayed edges, it just sold me on it. And I was a bit hesitant, so I asked my mum and she was like, yeah, buy it. And I was like, okay. So it didn't take much convincing at all to pick this book up because I was like, it was so pretty. And I've had my eye on this book for ages now, and I no longer have any sports romances on my shelves because I've read both Icebreaker and the Graham Effect in them series. So I'm up to date with both of them. And I was like, I need another sports romance. So I decided to pick up Clyde, and I cannot wait to get to it. And then the next book is Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver. This is the second book in the Butcher and Blackbird series. I didn't actually love Butcher and Blackbird, but I had a really good time reading it. So I'm hoping this is a fun read. I'm not necessarily going into this book expecting it to be a new all-time favourite, but what I am expecting is it just to be a really fun time. And I'm hoping that this couple is even better than the first, because if this couple is better than the first, I feel like I'm going to love it more. Because the actual world and atmosphere of this series was so much fun, and Bryn Weaver's writing style was so engrossing. So I just feel like I've got the potential to really enjoy this book, and I cannot wait to get to it, and I just hope it's so much better than Butcher and Blackbird. So this was the next book I decided to buy. So the next book I've got on my list is Lady of Shadows by Melissa K. Roerich. Yeah, I'm just going to go with that. I'm so bad with author names. So this is the second book in the Lady of Darkness series, which I was quite bad buying this book because I haven't read the first book, but I just feel like I'm going to love this series so much because I've seen so many people rave about it. So I cannot wait to see what all of the hype is about and try and find out why so many people love it. And I'm hoping I will be one of them people who loves this series. So even if I don't enjoy the first book, I'm going to give the second one a shot because I've got it. But I'm really hoping that this is a fantastic series. Then the next book I've got is Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. This book, I have just seen so many 5-star reviews. I have not heard one negative review about it. So that has just made me quite scared, but so excited to read this book. Like, I cannot wait to get to it. But originally I had this book on Kindle Unlimited, and then it was taken down because Kelly Hart's book was picked up by a traditional publisher, so I had to wait to get my hands on this book. But I'm so excited to read it, and find out what all of the hype is about, because I've wanted to read it for so long now, like since I've seen people rave about it. So I'm so glad that I've got this book in my collection. Then the next book I picked up was Heavenly Bodies by Imani Ebru, and I have wanted to read this book since it was published ages ago, because this one was also originally indie published, and I just heard so many fantastic things about it. And I had even pre-ordered this book, and it was meant to get here ages ago, but for some reason Amazon wouldn't send me a copy. It says something like it's currently unavailable and we don't know when we'll get it back in stock. So I was like, I'm not going to wait. So I cancelled my pre-order, and I saw that this book was in Big W, and I was like, yes, I need to buy it, because I've just wanted to read it for so long now, and I cannot wait to find out what this book is about. So the next book I've got to talk about is Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass. All I know about this book is a reverse harem story set in a Spartan academy, which just sounds like nothing I've ever read before. I'm not really drawn to stories about Spartans, so I'm taking a bit of a risk with this book, but I'm really hoping that it pays off, because similar to lots of the other books on this list, I've just seen so many fantastic reviews about The Blood of Hercules. So I was like, I need to give it a chance, like why not? And it was super cheap because it came from Big W, which is like Australia's cheapest bookstore. Like, I love Big W so much. It's like America's Target, but nowhere near as good. But this book was there, and I was like, I want to buy it. So I did. It's my birthday. I'm like, I might as well get it. Like, why not? Especially because I've been eyeing up this book for a while now. So this is the next book I got. The next book I'm not necessarily proud I purchased, but I'm so glad I own it. And that is Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole. And this book is book 2 in the Kindred's Curse saga. So the first book is Spark of the Everflame, which I haven't read yet, which is why I'm kind of a bit annoyed that I've purchased it, but it's okay. Like, I've accepted my fate. Because the reason I decided to purchase this book was I feel like I'm going to love Spark of the Everflame so much. And this is one of the really tall floppy paperbacks. And in Australia, if you're not really quick with snatching these books up ASAP, they end up going out of stock, and then they get republished in like the smaller paperbacks. And obviously I own Spark of the Everflame in this format, so I thought I might as well get the sequel, because even if I don't love Spark of the Everflame, I'm still going to read Glow of the Everflame, because the first book is so short. It doesn't even look like it's over 400 pages, whereas this is like a reasonable size book. This is the kind of size fantasy romance book that I love to read, because I feel like you can really sink your teeth into the story. So I'm so excited. So as I said, even if I don't love the first book, this book will still be getting read, because with the size of the first book, if I don't like it, I might as well give the sequel a shot, because I feel like I've got the chance that I will absolutely love this series, because I've just heard so many great reviews about it. And then the next book I've got is Bloodguard by C.C. Robson. I have heard no one talk about this book, but I'm so unbelievably excited for it. We're following elves, that's all I know about it. But I feel like following elves is something a bit different. With all of the fantasy romances I've tended to read in the past, I feel like I haven't read many stories about elves, and normally it's always about fae. So I'm just hoping that this book is something unique. And normally I find that it's the female main character who hates the male lead. But in this book, I think it's flipped, because I think it's the male lead who hates the female lead, which just sounds very fun. I'm hoping it's a bit different, not a very generic tropey fantasy romance. I hope it's something a bit special. And I have actually not seen one single soul of a person who I follow on BookTube talk about this book. Like, I've heard not one single review, so I'm going into this book so blind. So I'm not really knowing what to expect. I don't even know if it's YA or new adult or adult. I have no clue. So I'm really going into this book with no expectations, which makes me so glad, because there's very few books I'm able to do that with anymore. Because most of the books I pick up, I've heard reviews about before in the past, and that's what's made me want to pick it up. But there's just something about this cover and this title that just has drawn my attention every single time I go. And I've had this in my hands like a couple times before in the past, and I was like, I really want to buy it. So I felt like now was just the perfect chance, and I hope so badly that I love this book. So the next book I've got to talk about is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And Jennifer L. Armentrout is an author who I absolutely love. I've got all of From Blood and Ash like multiple times up there. I just love her book so much. I love the Flesh and Fire series, so I feel like I've got the potential to absolutely love this book. This is a book I've been wanting to read for years, and when I say for years, I mean for years. This has been a book I've seen on BookTube since I've been following BookTube, which I think was around 2014. So it's just the perfect time for me to finally pick up this book and have it in my collection, especially when I saw this edition. Like, that was just the cherry on top. I knew I needed to get it as soon as I saw this because I think it's so beautiful. But especially the front page. The front page is so stunning. Even though the stenciled edges are beautiful, I just love this front cover. I just think it's so beautiful. I don't know if it's maybe the light reflecting on the characters because it's a very simple cover. I don't know if it's maybe the colours. I just am completely and utterly obsessed. I just want to read this book so badly because I've wanted to read it for so many years now. Literally a decade. That is how long I've wanted to pick up this book for, so I need to read it. And then this book went down to $19, so I was like, yes, I'm snatching that book up, and I cannot be more excited to have this edition. I just love it. I'm completely and utterly obsessed. That's all I can say. And I don't even know if I'm going to absolutely love this book because it was published so long ago, so it could be very tropey. And I might have grown out of the age range that this book is targeted towards, but I really hope I haven't, and I hope I love this book to bits. So there's a high chance that the angles changed because I stopped filming this video because I got interrupted, and then it's just been ages. So sorry about that, but we're going to deal with it because I've literally only got one book left to talk about, which is, let me grab it for you all, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. So the reason why I bought this book was for the stenciled edges. I just think they are so stunning. I love the dragons, and I was really hesitating on buying this book. I was like, should I buy it? Should I not? So then I didn't purchase it, and it went out of stock, and I was like, why? Why did I not buy it? I regretted it so much. And then it came back in stock and there was one left, and I didn't get on it quick enough. But then I looked one last time and it was there, and I was so unbelievably happy because it meant I got my hands on this edition. The only thing that really bugs me is the fact that I already own the paperback version. But it's like this edition, I just couldn't pass my chance up of getting it. Like, I just think it is so beautiful. And if I love this book, I will forever regret not getting it because I want these stenciled edges so much. So I'm so unbelievably happy that I got it. But I think it's got a tear in it somewhere. Oh yeah, but it's got a tiny tear there, which is so frustrating, but I can deal with it. But I was like, no, please don't be damaged, and it was. And I can't get a replacement because this was the last one left. So I'm so happy with it. I'm so glad I've got it. So this was the final book I purchased for my birthday. So now I'm going to grab all of the books to show you guys what I bought myself. So these are every single book that I've bought for my birthday for myself. And I think I've got a really good selection here because literally the majority of it is fantasy romance, which is really what I'm trying to focus on collecting for my book collection and my TBR. Because I've got enough YA fantasies, I've got so many romances, like contemporary romances, and I have just been in such a fantasy romance mood, and not really having many was so upsetting. So I bought some really popular fantasy romances that I've seen a lot of. I've got some series continuation. I just feel like this was a really good stack, hence why I bought them all. So yeah, they were the 11 books I bought for my birthday, and I'm now going to wrap this video up because I've got nothing else to say other than I hope to see you next time, and bye.